Welcome back to the Done Deal Show. Hit the like button, get your comments in below, and make sure you're downloading the One Football app right now, the best one-stop shop and aggregator of all your sports news, transfer updates, live action, and much, much more. So get it downloaded for free, but I may add, onto your phone, just like I've got. We're going to delve into some of these stories today as well. Declan Rice caught in an epic battle between four Premier League giants. The price has been set for a while. Arsenal still leading that race, but Man United are now entering. We're looking at Mauricio Pochettino and why there's been a delay in announcing him as the Chelsea manager, but it is essentially done and dusted and over the line, and a formal announcement is expected imminently. We're also going to take a look here at Manchester United's pursuit of a new centre-back, a right-sided centre-back in Kim Min-Jae, and why that is so important to the club, the philosophy, and the style of football under the manager. And Chelsea and Newcastle both ready to target Raphinha. Nearly joined Arsenal last year. Barcelona need to raise a lot of money, about 180 million pounds this summer. They're in financial trouble again. That is all being looked at by a number of clubs. We're going to delve into all of these conversations today. But the first one I wanted to start with was Declan Rice. Now, we know Arsenal have agreed personal terms with his representation. Rice would be happy to play for them, happy with the salary that's been offered, loves the direction that Arsenal are going in. But a big report this morning on One Football states that West Ham are prepared to sell their prize asset this summer, but only if a Champions League club submits an offer of 120 million pounds. It does go on to state that what they would look at as well is 100 million plus a potential player as well. So it doesn't need to be 120 million cash. But with more and more interest now increasing in Declan Rice, especially after some brilliant performances recently, the valuation, the market valuation is going to continue to rise. Well, West Ham are going to continue to try and rise that. They want to create a bidding war. Arsenal are leading the race, as we know. Personal terms already agreed. Liverpool are now interested in the player. However, I'm discounting Liverpool right now because if Jude Bellingham was too expensive, if we are looking at 100+ million pounds, Declan Rice is therefore going to be too expensive. Chelsea are still circling around this player, and we'll get onto Chelsea a little bit later, but they want to add more to their squad this summer, 3 or 4 players max, but of high quality. And then you have Manchester United that, according to this article, in recent weeks have thrown their hat into the ring. They go on to say, as of now, Arsenal seem the front runners for the race to sign him. However, Manchester United and other Premier League heavyweights have entered the ring. This summer, Rice will have 2 years remaining on his contract with an option to extend further. The midfielder has previously turned down a new contract that would see him earn over £200,000 per week. West Ham's stance is clear. They will only part ways with Rice if you pay the right price. Now, it's going to be a big transfer fee and it's going to be a big salary because he's turned down £200,000 a week to stay at West Ham. So whoever signs him, you're putting him on 220, 250, 300 straight away. Manchester United want to hijack this deal from Arsenal. They want to take another big profile name away from the Gunners. Will that get done? Arsenal leading the race. They've agreed the personal terms. Nothing done and sealed and over the line as of yet. But how do you personally see this one going? We've mentioned Chelsea already, and it's really important at this point to bring in the situation around Mauricio Pochettino. Why the delay? Now, there have been rumors, and we've all had fun with them, that he was waiting to see if Chelsea were going to stay in the Premier League. That isn't the case. The reason there's been a delay is because he's been flashing out the details with Chelsea. He wants to join. He's happy with the salary, happy with the contract length. He's actually happy with the amount of money they're spending and the direction they want to go in. But what Poch has been ironing out is the control he's going to have. He's been ironing out, who he can sell, who he can't sell, what budgets will look like, philosophy of football, and all that jazz. And the reason why that's really important for him to flush out those aspects, especially the control, is that is what's put Chelsea in this bad situation. They've spent too much money too quickly. And it does appear that Tuchel and Potter didn't really have the control they wanted. Up until recently, the owners have been giving speeches before and after games. They should be nowhere near that situation on such a regular basis. Poch is right to do this, and he needs promises. And a little bit like Daniel Levy at Tottenham, who often lies to his managers. He promises something and they don't quite get it. This is where Todd Bowley and Clear Lake and the Chelsea board make up for a year of hell for Chelsea fans. You give the manager what he wants, give him the control, and whatever you promise him, you deliver. You give him at least 3 years. You allow him to build and nurture a squad in his own image. This goes right for Chelsea if they do this. When I say right, they'll go back to challenging for cups. They'll go back to challenging for the top 4. I'm not convinced Poch is good enough to make them Premier League champions yet. I can't change my mind on that just right now. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm not going to blow smoke up Chelsea fans' arses because they don't need that. They don't need Terry Fluid doing that. You know, they know about Poch. They know the question marks over him. Every Chelsea fan does. So we don't need to dwell on that. But they will improve massively if they give him the control he's after. Then you start to look at the signings they're looking at. Declan Rice that we've already mentioned. Harry Kane is another one that they will go for massively if Poch is in charge. I don't think they're going to sign lots of players, young players this year. I think it will be 3 or 4 established stars. Harry Kane, Declan Rice, Raphinha. Maybe another centre-back as an example. A core almost. Get rid of 10 to 15 players, which is massive, and then build from that point. Poch is expected to join by the end of this week. All of these kind of details are being flushed out as it stands. I know Chelsea fans are looking for a bit of excitement and some good news, but it does appear that it's on its way. Then you move across to the Raphinha news. I feel like Raphinha is going to leave Barcelona this summer. It just feels that way. The news from both Spain, Barcelona, and of course in the UK are all pretty much in sync with one another about his need to leave. Report here says Newcastle have made an approach for him. He subbed Chelsea and Arsenal last summer for the Camp Nou, but the situation has changed financially with over 180 million needing to be raised by the Catalonians. According to a Spanish outlet, Newcastle have approached the player directly, via intermediaries, and have made a direct approach to the player, whilst Chelsea and Arsenal still remain largely interested in the player. Now, this is going to be an interesting one this summer because Newcastle are going to get Champions League football now unless something catastrophic happens to them. Raphinha he's a baller. I don't watch enough of La Liga and follow Barcelona closely enough to understand why he's being a guy that they're shipping off. Has he not been that great this year? I don't really care. In the Premier League for Leeds, this guy was a star, and I think he can come back to the Prem and deliver in that same way. If Newcastle get him, I think it fits their mold and their profile of player they've been looking for, but it's also someone who is not quite a superstar, not quite world class, but of a very high level, good output ability as well, on top of his technical ability. And this is someone who could genuinely be a game changer for them. At the same time, you look at Chelsea. I know they've got Madueke, who's looked good recently. He could do bits for them. You look at Arsenal. I really feel like this is a player Arsenal should be moving heaven and earth for. And look, I'm a Man United fan, and we spent a lot of money on Anthony. I'd love him on our right-hand side as well. More productive. Productivity is the most important thing to come from your forwards. It really is. Do they break lines? Do they beat people? Do they create chances? Do they score goals? Are they doing all 4? 3 of those 4? None of those 4. Those are the real important elements here. But if Newcastle get this guy, what a signing. My question to you, the audience, is where do you think he will go? Now, Man United are also looking at a player here. Now, this story keeps rearing its head. It's very unlikely that Man United could get both Victor Osimhen and Kim Min-Jae from Napoli in one summer. I think Man United are going to focus on a centre-back. Right-sided centre-back, right-footed centre-back. As much as we have Varane and we have Lissandro's injury was a freak. Raphael Varane can't play 2 games per week. If Man United make the Champions League, or if they don't and just make the Europa League, 2 games a week, full throttle next year. Because the expectations on Ten Hag, especially if he's not in the Champions League, are actually higher. If he's in the Europa League, the expectation is you win this. If he's in the Champions League, it will be get to the quarters, maybe a semi. It won't be to win it straight away because of the caliber of teams in that. So there'll be big pressure, and he needs a centre-back that can play week in, week out. Creating partnerships is going to be key. Now, Kim Min-Jae is a highly talented player, very well respected, can play out from the back, and it's that playing out from the back which is going to be key. As I mentioned earlier about what Raphinha will bring to a Newcastle. That star quality, that ability on the ball, but additional outputs, which are so important when trying to progress your team. Min-Jae has that as well. He has outputs, but he has those defensive outputs. Brilliant from playing out from the back. Wonderful positioning, great strength, a dominant player in duels. Someone that can help Man United progress their style to that next level. Imagine having essentially they're different from each other, but you'll get my point here. Two players that can impact the team at this in centre back. When Lissandro came into Man United's team, there was an improvement in how he played. Ten Hag wants to do that again. A lot of the focus is around Kim Min-Jae, and I want to get your views as to whether you think he's good enough for Man United. Rivals are probably going to say not. Man United fans may say that he is, but we want your views. This is a deal that United will look to line a bid up for. Nothing advanced as of now, but they're set to try and do that as soon as the season ends. Listen, people, I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. I want all your opinions in the comments section below. Download the OneFootball app. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.